If someone were to tell me that desmoid tumors were benign, I think that I would have to relate my personal experience of what I've had with them. I think that my personal experience can't be denied, and the way that my tumor has behaved has been anything but benign. It is locally aggressive, and it will invade, permeate, and literally crush anything in its wake. I was diagnosed in 1999 with my first desmoid tumor. It was in my right calf, and I was pretty much living my best life, teaching marine biology down in the Florida Keys, and I was training to run a marathon. And I was stretching one day, and I just felt this lump in the back of my leg, and honestly didn't think a lot about it. I was 26 years old at the time, and I didn't think that really anything could happen to me. When I was going through the diagnostic process, it was quite terrifying, actually. I had my MRI on a Monday, and I came back in, and they told me on Tuesday that I needed to be prepared to come in for surgery on Friday. So I went in for surgery. As it turns out, the tumor that they removed was the size of about a football. It had grown into that size over the course of 2 years. My first recurrence with the desmoid tumor was almost immediately following my first surgery. It happened within about 6 to 9 months. I had literally just gotten that open wound closed up, and at the top and the bottom of my scar, I felt these 2 small lumps, and I tried to sell myself on the idea that it was scar tissue, but that's definitely not what it turned out to be. So within a year, I already had 2 new tumors return, and so at the time, the first line of work was to just surgically remove them, and so out came the next 2 tumors, and it set me off on a course of surgeries for the next several years, where I would take out 2 tumors and then 3 would return. 3 went out, 4 came back. After we decided that the surgical approach was no longer working, I was pretty much running out of leg and my mobility was becoming extraordinarily impaired. I traveled to almost every hospital on the entire eastern seaboard. There was pretty much no stone left unturned in my pursuit of trying to find the right treatment for me and my desmoid tumor. All of these surgeries that we had to have done, all of the damage that had been done to my nerves and to my leg, there just really wasn't much left there anymore, and the tumors continued to grow and grow and grow, and eventually my desmoid tumors broke through my skin and grew literally on the outside of my leg. My leg was pretty enormous. My calf was twice the size of my thigh, so it became obvious to us at some point that it was time for us to think about amputating. For 5 years, I was relatively desmoid tumor free. But in 2013, just 5 years after I had had my leg amputated, I was really struggling again with mobility, and I had significant pain in my hip and pelvis, and I just thought I had injured myself. But as it turns out, I had another desmoid tumor that had returned, and it was in my hip and pelvis. So from day one, being a desmoid tumor patient, my life has been challenging. My mobility became extraordinarily compromised long before I ever had my first surgery. And in my first surgery, they removed my tumor and they also took out all of my calf muscles. So I have had some significant physical challenges from the very, very beginning. Being a desmoid tumor veteran gives me a unique perspective of kind of walking the walk for quite some time. And so I often find myself talking with newly diagnosed patients, trying to provide them with some insight. And really, I think the most important thing that we all need to do, anyone that gets a diagnosis, is the first thing that you need to do is do your own research. And no one's gonna advocate any better for you than yourself. I'm really grateful. It's been an experience, and it has altered my ability to be the marine biologist that I thought that I was going to be, but I'm still grateful for the opportunities that I've had along the way.